You're listening to The Dating Den with dating and relationship badass and best-selling author Marni Batista. Every week, you'll get the raw truth from top experts and real people on the important dating, sex, and relationship issues you want to know about. So if you're ready for true talk that's authentic and unfiltered, and you're not afraid to be called out on your stuff, then you're ready for what's next.
The Dating Den, episode 23 with Daniel Packard. Why goal-oriented women fail when it comes to dating. Ladies, welcome into the den with me. I have invited my new friend, Daniel. First of all, I'm looking at his face on Skype. He's super cute. And you guys know that I like them when they're smart and cute. Just had to say that because that's how I roll. And he is also freaking really smart. And what I love about this man is that he is passionate about self-love. And you know that, that's to me the mission of my soul, so to speak. And he has a science background. And for all of us smarties, we like it when we get a little cognitive hit of joojoo, to go along with our woowoo. So I think you're going to love Daniel. So before I tell you his bio and all the impressive stuff, I just want to say, Daniel, welcome to the den.
Thank you for inviting me. And I caught the flirt and it was received and appreciated right back at you. We need more flirty women who just say, hey, winky, winky. So I felt it and I dig it. And right back at you. Yay! And I'm excited to bring the ladies some healing post-Valentine's upliftment. This can be a dark time. It's like being an Atlanta football fan right now. You're like, oh, God. So I want to get you guys back to the Super Bowl next year.
That's so awesome. By the way, this is a funny Super Bowl football, whatever. I was coaching someone the other day and I literally, in my world, it's women, but I accidentally made a football analogy. And she was like, totally got it. And I was like, you are my soul sister. So now that you made a football analogy, Daniel, heart emojis, massive heart emojis. Okay. So yes, let me tell you about this man. He has spent 10 years doing experiential and academic research, and he has a very precise, I love that word, and clear model of the mechanics of self-love. The science of self-love that he created gives ladies like us a clear and practical understanding of how self-love works, how self-love affects our freaking lives. And I think this is what I really want to talk about with you today is how do you build self-love on a daily basis? So first thing I want to just address right away is I studied this for a while and I came across this body of work by Kristen Neff, who is also a science-y, academic-y chick. And she sort of first explained to me that there's a difference between self-esteem and self-worth and self-love. And so that to me was mind-blowing. So I just thought since, this is your area, what do you find? Is that true? Is that what does it mean for us, et cetera?
Well, it's a really good question. I don't know that they're different. They're a little bit different. When I think of self-esteem, it means my regard for myself. We use the word esteem. I have esteem for them. I regard them well. I respect them. But there's not a lot of heart in that word.
Yeah, totally.
Right? So self-esteem can be like, hey, I'm a capable woman. I look good in heels. My condo is very well appointed. I have great friends. I'm very smart. That's self-esteem. And there's a role for that. That's good. It's better than hating yourself and thinking you're worthless. So that's great. But I have both for myself, and I will tell you that self-love, self-esteem is more external. Self-love is do I love me?
Yeah.
Do I adore me? When I'm with me, do I think, hey, I'm okay? Or even when you fail, do you go, hey me, I got your back. It's really a friendship. It's about heart. Self-esteem is more about praising yourself, but you have to understand an important part of self-love is really just self-care. It's how do I treat myself? What words do I say to myself? When I'm sad, do I say, hey, it's okay to be sad? What kind of a friend are you to yourself? And a lot of people don't realize that part. They think it's about praising themselves or taking care of themselves. Or, I actually looked up, tips for self-love one time. And Cosmo, not the
Did
most
it
reliable.
freaking say get a manicure, a fucking massage? Because
Bubble
if it
bath.
did,
Bubble bath.
fuck the bubble bath. I'm sorry, but like it's nice and everything, but it don't make me feel good when a guy says I'm not into you. It just makes me feel, honestly, I feel like a bubble bath actually makes me feel sad.
You should write that into Cosmo. Yeah, that the bubble bath has the perfumes to dilute the tears of loneliness. Yeah, I don't think it's going to really help.
If you're Bridget Jones, maybe. Okay. I don't know.
So it's an important word, and self-love sometimes gets hijacked into the flowery, like, I love myself. I'm incredible. Think I'm incredible. My friends think I'm incredible. There's sort of a lofty cheerleading perspective of it. But then there's like a nitty-gritty of like a parent's love to a child. How do you care for yourself? How do you show up for yourself? Are you committed to yourself? Do you give yourself attention before anyone else? It's these kind of like nitty-gritty day-to-day, how do you show up for you?
I love this. So I was coaching with someone just literally yesterday, and we were talking. It's like mind blowing, right? Like she was saying that she feels mad at herself because she's done all this work. She's gone to all the seminars. She's read the flipping books, and she wakes up in the middle of the night and she starts worrying about like, what if she dies alone? And then she goes, I can't believe it. Like, what's wrong with me? I should know better. And I was like, so, that's not self-acceptance. Like that, you're like, that's never going to get you out of that loop. So what I really love what you're saying that is way more substantial than a bubble bath is, how do I talk to myself? Like, I feel like if you are constantly saying, oh God, I'm so stupid. Just like people are so self-deprecating.
No, it's frightening. It's frightening, and it's a blind spot because they don't realize that that's cruel. It's neglect. Remember, you're the only one that's supposed to love you. It'd be nice if other people love us, but it's not their divine responsibility. It's you loving you, your parent loving your child, and every little ounce that child picks up on. And if you think of a child, more than anything, a child wants a parent to just show up. Just show up. But all the time we sell ourselves out. We throw ourselves under the bus. And the key word is we don't know we're doing it. And that's the real blind spot of the self-love movement, is we're accidentally not loving to ourselves while telling ourselves how much we love. And so I really wanted to study this so I could get it right, because like many people, I saw it was important, but I saw, as a scientist, I was just looking out. I was a mechanical engineer. I was like, the mechanics of this are off. And in some ways, people are doing themselves damage because, as you said, see, here's the thing. Self-love, like many spiritual, personal development topics, it's a goal that you're going to be one day. See, people make this mistake of, I need to be more open. I need to be more honest. I need to love myself more. I need to be this. And it's a masculine forcing yourself to be something. Now, the issue...
Damn, Daniel. Sorry, I had to say it.
You feel me? So it's a linear, masculine, goal-oriented energy. Now, on the one hand, it's good because it's linear. There's a goal. But your consciousness, your love of yourself, you are a garden. You are a flower. And if you walk into the garden and the flower is not where you want it to be, and you walk up to the flower and you go, hey, open flower. Okay? Be more beautiful. It is time to blossom, flower. The flower's like, whoa, ease up.
Right.
Okay? You're the reason I'm wilting, so don't come in here and yell at me and tell me what I need to be. Sit with me. Acknowledge me. See that perhaps you didn't nourish me. Sit with me and slowly do the feminine, the healing, the soft, nurturing time in the garden, because it is those nutrients of love, of water, of air that eventually one day the flower will open.
I think this is so brilliant. You're brilliant, by the way. I love you already. So, someone said to me yesterday, this is about effortless power versus power that takes a lot of effort.
Oof.
Isn't that deep? But that's what you were describing, right? It's like, grow, fucking flower, versus like effortless. Like, hey, flower. Let's what do you love? What do you need? Right. And that women are so, here's the thing. Women are so good at naturally, we're actually very nurturing. So Why is it that we are these nurturing beings and we get trapped by effort in this linear masculine approach to love, self-love?
Well, I'll give you a simple answer. It's the number one answer. It's the answer to all most love questions. And it's so simple, people miss it. But I'm going to tell it to you. And you know about this concept, but sometimes people forget that this is like the number one thing. The reason that all people, but women, lose track of truth, inner wisdom, the reason we lose track of things that work and that are in alignment with our divinity is, are you ready for the answer? You ready for the answer?
I'm ready. I'm so ready.
Okay, and I'm going to use the Latin pronunciation, okay? Fear.
Uh-huh.
Like, that's it. Fear makes everybody stupid because when you're afraid, you are beholden to the fear. You're addicted to avoiding the fear and you're addicted to comfort. So that's what's pulling you. So as you know, not firsthand, but when you're a crack addict, you're not a great parent and health food advocate because, you know, you're going for the crack.
Well,
And
wait,
so
I was a man. So wait, like I'm going to use man addict because I was a man addict and I was trying to get validation and love for men. And so I did have that. So go with that analogy.
Which analogy?
Like I wasn't addicted to crack. I was addicted to validation, like trying to get men to sleep with me, trying to get men, you know, like when you're in that like thing, I don't think any of this can work.
No, you're absolutely right. And I was a shocker. I was a booby addict. I was a girly addict. You know, I didn't like who I was, and I thought, hey, if I can get somebody shiny and vanilla scented to smile at me, maybe I'm lovable. So I became phenomenally. I used this engineering brain to basically master online dating. And little fun fact about the Danimal, I started doing online dating back like right around 98 when Craigslist was it was the only thing there, and I created a profile because I have a masculine feminine side. You know, I can work it. I have the feminine to know what a woman wants and the masculine to be kind of manipulative to create a system. So I created this posting, the 10 reasons you should write me back. And each reason was perfectly designed to sort of activate a certain woman's consciousness. And the profile was so good that mothers of daughters from other cities were like, can I fix you up with my daughter? And I got a letter, this is a true story, from Craigslist saying, hey, by the way, we looked at your profile and it is a statistical outlier. We've never seen a male profile get that kind of attraction. Now, this is the level of addiction. At the time, it seemed amazing. But because I was an addict, I was basically getting pulled into a world of lack of fulfillment. So Craigslist saying I'm the number one online dater is like calling me the leper with the most fingers. Like it's a dubious honor, you know? No? But anyway, going to what you were saying, we go to masculine when we're afraid. Yeah. Because when we're in fear, what do we want? We want reassurance. And how do humans go to reassurance? We go into control. And masculine is control. Oh, there's an answer? I just need to love myself? Great. Now I can go. Feminine is more vague. It's open-ended. I don't know. And so when people are afraid, the last thing we want to do is be in the feminine. So people don't do it. And that's where the most important trait in the human kingdom comes in, which is courage.
Yes.
Because without courage, you're going to default to masculine. You're going to go towards control, overthinking, protecting, attacking. And it's comfortable, but as we know, it just pushes love away and it disconnects women. It disconnects women from their divine gifts. So self-love and courage is extra, extra, extra important for women. And I'm going to tell you, this is going to blow your mind. Okay, you ready? You ready?
I'm so ready. I'm so ready.
This was told to me by somebody much wiser than I, and there's some truth to it. He said that women more than men need self-love. And here's why. He wasn't saying that men don't need it. Don't get mad. I'm sure there's women listening being like, I dated a guy who hated himself and it was horrible. Yeah. I'm not saying men don't need self-love. What I'm saying is we live in a physical masculine world, a world of consumerism, material, getting stuff done. It's masculine energy. Yep. So a man is built for masculine energy. We were built for fighting and punching and doing things and being leaders and being laser-like. So a masculine body and a man can kind of wing it in a masculine world. You can still be the guy. You can open the door. You can be the earner. You can still kind of fake being a dude if you don't love yourself. Yeah. You can't hit the higher levels, but you can fake it. You can start a band. You can become wealthy. You know, you can can become, but a woman's energy is about being feminine. It's about being open. It's about flowing. And if you don't love who you are, that flower can't open. You're too scared. You're protecting. And so a woman disconnects. A woman can't fake being feminine in a masculine world. She truly needs that self-love to nourish herself so that that flower can open in this masculine world. And I know this because when I work with women and they complain there's no good men out there, men are this, men are that, my city sucks, I go, okay, hold on, let's back up. And they nourish the self-love that then nourishes the flower opens, and then surprise, surprise, the bees show up.
Damn, I love that. That's so good. Okay, so listen, let's talk about the how. How do I, if I'm like, okay, Daniel, sigh, ugh, I'll have some courage and I will not make manicures and bubble baths my self-love mantra. I'm willing to really start to be kind to myself and patient and accept myself, even though it feels like I'm crawling out of my skin. How do they do it? What's the first step?
You don't do that.
You don't? What do you mean? You don't have a step because it's masculine?
Masculine, you've already got a goal.
Damn! I fell right
I
into
know.
I was going to call it a booby trap, but apparently it's masculine, so it's like a penis trap.
Yeah, you fell into it.
Okay, so, all right. So that's so cool. So, okay, speak to me. So I just was telling someone yesterday, higher quality questions. What's a higher quality question rather than what's the first step?
Well, first one would ask yourself, where did the self-love go?
Love it.
Because the mistake that most people make, and I figured this out when I went to do my own personal research, is people have self-love 180 degrees backwards. Because when they talk about it, look at the words that they use. I need more self-love. I need to love myself more. I need to raise my self-esteem. I need to boost my confidence. You see all those add words?
Yeah.
Masculine. Add. More. So if you're telling yourself you need more, what are you energetically telling yourself? I'm lacking.
Right. No, totally. This is great.
So what's like the number one way to make a person feel unloved? Walk up to them and tell them they're missing something.
Right.
What if you walked up?
You'd be fucked up.
What if you walked up to your best friend and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know that you really need to be different. I really need to improve yourself." Your friend would be like, "Go away." But that's the trap of personal development spirituality. It's the masculine. I need to build that self-love. I need to go get it. Well, that's assuming you don't already have it.
So is it like, how can I get it back? Because here's an interesting story. So
even that, getting it back.
Right. Okay. But I need to wrap my brain around it, right? Because, like, for example, when I first got on this journey, and I was in lack for sure, and I sort of did some work, and I was blessed to be able to be with my mom and dad at the time, and I was just gotten through my divorce, and my mom saw me and she looked me in the eye and she was like, "Oh my God, you're back! You're authentic, the person before, right, of all the pain and the damage is here." So if it's not going back, because I'm a big believer in language and I love that you're schooling me on this. So what's the right, or God, do it again. What is the most optimal way? I don't even know how to ask the question. I can't even interview fucking Daniel anymore. What?
It's good.
How do I do it? My masculine brain, I gotta go. How do I do it? What do I do?
All right, well, let's look around. Let's be a scientist, okay?
Let's
be a scientist.
God, that's so hard for me. Okay.
Who has it? Like, who already has it? There's a group. There's already a group on this planet that it already loves who they are. And you know it because you can see their behavior. They're very open. They're very loving. They're very playful. And they're magnetic. Who's already got it? There's a group. World's experts. They're everywhere. They're called kids.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay? Kids are naturally that. And that's why you'll never see a 5-year-old reading a self-help book that says how to play tag and influence people. Like, you'll never see it. You'll never see kids watching Tony Robbins videos so that they can go to feel confident at the playground. Children are the most loving, open, in the moment, present, alive creatures. They do a finger painting that looks like a bipolar meth addict, and they hold it up like, "Hey, look what I did. Look at my essence. Look at my authenticity." They don't give a crap what you think. They are free already.
Yeah, totally. No, that's so true.
So it begs the question, if they've got it, maybe it's not anything we need to go out and get. Maybe we had it at one point and maybe it went missing, or maybe it's still there and we've forgotten about it.
Well, just to volley that back, I sort of always, when I'm working with women, I say, like, by the way, you are a woman. Like, I know that you're like totally in masculine mode, but we'll make a broad assumption, right? You got all the bits and the parts, original bits and parts in some ways. And so it's there, right? So is it like it's excavated? It's just stuff has happened and covered it up?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's asleep. It's dormant. Because on some levels, every now and then we reconnect with it. Sometimes you're with a best friend, or you're in a really good mood, or you're in a relationship where you feel really trusting and alive, and you get that absolutely delicious, I just get to be myself feeling.
Yeah.
Do you know that feeling?
I
or
love
sometimes
it.
after sex, and you're like, oh my God, there it is. There, oh God. And you connect. For some reason, you give yourself permission through another person who mirrors your own magnificence back, and you reconnect with your own divinity. And that's that miraculous, I just get to be myself feeling.
It's so good. I love that feeling.
That's the feeling we're all going for. That's when they say, hey, why do you like that relationship? I just got to be myself. They tell you right away.
But this is a big point. This is a big point. I'm going to interrupt you because I don't want it to slip by. Like, this is an experience that we all have. Like, we all have the ability to have, or we all have a memory of having. I mean, right? I mean, it's not like you wake up at 40 and you're like, wow, I never felt like I was myself.
Right. What's the question?
The question is, so for all women, everyone who's listening, right? Like, there's this, you're saying it's dormant, and we all have some experience in our life of feeling in that flow, of feeling like I'm myself, of feeling like I'm comfortable being silly. I can just be who I am.
All right, here we go. You ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay. Some of these concepts you've heard before, some you haven't, but I'm going to put them in an order that makes more sense. And by the way, the reason we know what I'm saying is true is, do you feel how your body is open and alive and lighter right now?
Yes. No, I do.
That's how you know you're mainlining. A real good truth will always make you feel better. It's your deep knowing going, God damn, this is good stuff. It's God whispering at you, being like, come on, you like it. You like it. So if you're feeling good right now, regardless of the words, come with me. Come with me now, my children. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Here's what happens. Okay, I'm gonna speed it up. Now, when I teach it to you, it's slower. In the course that I do, it's slower, and you really learn it. But here's the accelerated version, because we don't have a lot of time. Okay, I'm just gonna give you the download. I don't like to teach in this way, where I just give you the answers. I like to create these experiential processes where you awaken to this anyway. But we're in a podcast. We're gonna accelerate it. Okay, ready? Ready? Here we go. All right. We have love for ourselves. It's in there. It's not really anything we go get. What suffocates us, what puts us to sleep, the original lie, which ruins the whole video game, the original lie that robbed us of that childlike love, is the belief that we're not enough to be loved. That's it. That belief.
Yeah.
That belief that we made up as a kid that said, hey, you're broken. You are missing something. You are lacking something. And because of that, nobody's going to love the real you. That belief way back when hypnotized us and made us stupid into believing that we're not enough to be loved. And if you think you're not enough to be loved, you therefore can't love yourself, because guess what? You told yourself you're literally so flawed, nobody will love you. Do you know what a horrible thought? Again, imagine you went up to a friend and you said, hey, by the way, you're a little bit broken and someone may not love you for you. Like, that's a really horrible thing to say, but we tell it to ourselves, and that's why we can't love ourselves fully, is because there's a little voice still in there, and I'll get later how to get it out. That's what I do. But that little voice that says I'm not enough to be loved robs us of fully loving ourselves, because once we think we're not enough to be loved, then you want to go to the outside world to get love, right? We want to be validated, as you said.
Right.
You're addicted to the men, right? So we're going to the outside world to say, hey, outside world, will you love me? But then we know on some level the outside world won't love us. And if they won't love us back, we go, see, I knew it. I'm not enough to be loved. And that creates the concept of rejection. Now we're afraid of rejection. which is really just the world saying, hey, I wasn't that into you, and then you make it mean you're not enough to be loved. But not enough to be loved is a really super dark, scary, psychic thought. It grips us. So now we're afraid. And once you're afraid, you can't be fully self-expressed. You can't be fully authentic. You can't be fully open because you're just too darn scared to do it. And you're afraid if I do it, what if the world doesn't love me back and I get hurt? So once you think you're not enough to be loved, you tell yourself you suck, but it also creates a whole cycle of behavior which pushes love away and robs you of all the things that naturally bring us love.
Dan, that sounds like Alice going down the rabbit hole. You know what I mean? Like you're like, nothing seems as it is, you know, and that's what I feel like for women who are listening, you know, it's like we literally are in the house of mirrors. And, you know, like it's the look in the mirror and go, I swear to God, this mirror is adding 10. Is it the mirror? Like, you know, where you're like, is it me? Is it real? Right? Like you don't know what's real. And that pain that you just described of being caught in that vicious cycle, I call it a romantic rut, is really painful. I mean, and it feels like there's no way out, you know?
Well, yeah, and now it's my turn to crush on you. In the book that I wrote, Love's One Lesson, the one thing that can change everything, I talk about the house of mirrors because it so warps your perception. And it's in the subconscious that everything that comes in goes through that filter of, I suck. I suck and I now have to be better so someone will love me. It's totally crazy making. It's totally exhausting. And that's why you can't see straight. That's why when someone doesn't call you back, you almost think your life is over. It just robs us of anything good. And it is a house of mirrors because it's like that belief has then brought spawn to other beliefs, like you're not worthy of love. You're not allowed to have love. Don't speak up. It creates this whole network of lies that just robs you of love. And then here's the matrix. When we think we're not enough to be loved, it creates so many lies that we become dysfunctional and we do all this anti-love behavior. Then we see all the anti-love behavior and we go, see, I knew it. I'm not enough to be loved, which makes you now feel worse about yourself. That's what I call the figure hate.
Okay, so I know I would love if we could have one little exercise to get out of the house of mirrors.
Boo-ba-doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Okay, I can't give you an exercise, but I'll show you the way out.
Okay. My little how brain and my little in my dating den, I have to have some practical takeaway to complement the blowing of the mind.
All right. And I say this with humility and kindness. I honest to God believe the best how, and I mean this, and I'm not making a joke, is to look at the course that I'm doing on the 8th, because all we do is we address this in a beautiful way. There is no quick how. There's a karmic debt that we've told ourselves that we're not a child of God for decades, if not lifetimes. So it doesn't go away quickly. It's like an obese person. You're going to have to start at the beginning and work off that karma, but that's what God wants for you. So it's a very beautiful healing process, reconnecting to your original divinity. But I'm telling you, it's no joke. It's the real deal. There's no quick fix. And all I do is train people in this inner soul dojo. So if this is activating you, I'm not selling you saying there is no quick fix. There is no quick fix, but all I do. So that's my plug. Go to loveathlete.com. But here's what I can show you, the way out of the rabbit hole. Okay?
Okay.
Now, often when people hear, oh, God, I think I'm not enough to be loved, we obviously understand that happens sometime in childhood. And people like to think, well, yeah, I had lame parents or this bad thing happened. Now I don't love myself. And that's kind of where the dialogue ends. But the little scientist in me figured out, wait a minute. We learn a lot of beliefs as a kid. Santa Claus, Tooth Fairy, Easter Bunny. There's a lot of stuff you make up as a kid. But those are all gone. But not enough is still sticking around.
Right.
And that's the break in the case. Wait a minute. It's not because we got told it to it a long time ago, because a lie can only exist if you keep telling it to yourself. If you stop telling yourself the lie dissolves. Truth is automatic. You don't have to keep telling yourself the sky is blue. It's true, you know it. But a lie, you have to keep repeating it. So I started to look and say, wait, where am I retelling myself I'm not enough to be loved? Because I don't go around saying it. So I looked like an accountant. Where is this secret embezzlement happening? And it happened in Mexico about 8 years ago. I was at the peak of my female addiction. And it wasn't satisfying me. And I kept doubling down, thinking, well, if the woman's more beautiful, or if it's a model, or if her breasts are bigger, I never woke up. So I'm in Mexico and I'm in this cabaret, and there's this beautiful lead cabaret dancer. And my ego said, her. You got to go after her. If you can get her to love you, then you'll be lovable. And I'm out on the patio and we start flirting. And I'm not kidding. She just looks at me, hands me her number, and with this very predatorial look says, you call me tonight. And my ego is like, cha-ching, I'm a winner. And I run back into the club and I've got the phone number and I walk up to my friend. I'm like, look at the phone number that I've got. And my ego, and I'm being validated. And he says, you can't call her. And I said, what do you mean I can't call her? He said, you can't call her. I said, what do you mean? Did you see her? And he said, you think if you sleep with her, you're going to raise your self-esteem. And I said, yeah, I am. And he said, yes, but if you think that by her sleeping with you, that makes you more enough to be loved, that on some level reinforces the fact that not enough is even real. Therefore, by sleeping with her, you don't raise your self-love, you actually lower it.
Mm.
And I went, oh my God. The whole matrix cracked.
Wow.
And what I saw was, and this is what the course that I do is, there's 6 ways that we reinforce not enoughness. Because again, when you think you're not enough to be loved, you now naturally are afraid of rejection. And you're going towards validation and away from rejection. And there's 6 ways that we avoid getting rejected. The problem is rejection is based in the belief that we're not enough to be loved. When you're avoiding rejection, you're really avoiding something that makes you feel not enough to be loved. So every time you avoid rejection, you get comfort, but you've just reinforced that you're not enough to be loved to begin with.
Oh, I love that. Daniel, thank you so much. You're beautiful and very, very supportive of all of us crazy-ass masculine women in the den. So we'll talk to you soon, Daniel. And ladies, date with dignity. Love you all. Bye-bye.